Two travelers in Mexico, Mark
and
Paulette.
Right. So today we renewed our IMSS insurance. We had to go to the IMSS administrative office and basically redo almost all the paperwork again because we're making a new contract with a new state. I guess each state has separate contracts with IMSS, and so we had to fill out that paperwork. We had to submit, a bunch of documents, what they called infantile-sized photos, which are really small, smaller than a passport photo.
About that big. Yeah, we only needed one.
We had to submit our copy of our marriage license. We had to bring our passport plus a copy of the passport page that has our identification in it. We brought our residency cards.
Right, residency cards and copies.
We had to bring a utility bill.
Current utility bill that shows the address. Birth certificate copies, we needed that also.
A green card, residency card, and a photocopy of that card. Once we turned in all our paperwork, we were given a receipt to take to the bank to actually pay the bill. In our case, because we're over 60 now, our bill was 12,250 pesos each. That's pretty good, Paul. I can do a happy dance about her age. They gave us a receipt to take to the bank. They listed 3 or 4 banks on there, but we went to one that we like to deal with. So we took that receipt to the bank. We paid the money at the bank. We were given
cash.
Yeah, we had to pay cash. The bank stamped the paperwork. So then we took that paperwork back to IMSS, and they finished doing what they were doing. They told us then to come back in a couple of weeks because they had to check with Morelia to make sure that we were legit there.
Even though we brought the medical books from Morelia.
Yeah. So we did that. We went back just a couple of days ago, I think February 9th or 10th. We went back to the IMSS administrative offices. They said we were good to go. We took the paperwork that they gave us to take to the IMSS hospital administration area, where we turned all of that in.
IMSS has 2 different, they've got the hospital section, and then they have connected or near it. The other area that's for clinical appointments and things like that. And so that's where we ended up going, and we started downstairs by this desk area, and we had our gas bill with us. And the receipt that we got from them. We had our passports. We had copies of our passports. We had a bunch of stuff that we just kind of keep together, whatever is needed. We usually have it. And so all they really needed was the paperwork that we got from IMSS. And they needed our green cards, which is, permanent residency card that Mark has, my temporary card that I have, Visa card. So they needed those. I handed them the utility bill that was our gas, and I didn't understand what was going on for a while, but apparently they wanted our electric bill because it had the address and it had part of the street name, but it didn't have the first name spelled out.
On the gas bill.
On the gas bill, right. So they didn't want that. So then we had to make another trip to come back. Right? So we came back the next day. Their hours were from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. So brought it back the next day. We had the electric bill, and we just made a copy of it because we have a printer here. So I made a copy, took it back with all of our stuff again, and Gosh, it took a while that time, didn't it? I don't know why, but it
Yeah.
seemed to have taken longer. Like the girl, says like 1 minute, and then she was gone for a while, and then they came back, and I don't know. It seemed to take like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30
a while.
minutes.
There was quite a line that formed behind us.
Yeah.
That wasn't there when we started.
No, and I felt really bad for the people because we were holding things up, but I didn't understand what the problem was. We had what they wanted, and we brought the electric bill, so I don't understand. But this is where patience comes in, people, because
Yeah.
I'm a type A personality, and I don't always have a whole lot of patience. And I was like, this is what they told us to bring back. So anyhow, it took like another half an hour there, right?
Yeah.
And then we were told to go upstairs, and that's where we get our new medical books.
At the hospital, we needed another small infantile, what they call infantile picture here, to put into our new booklets,
Right.
our medical booklets that we have.
So we only needed one for IMSS when we did the application at the administration office, and then we needed one for our booklet to take with us too. But the way that they do them here is they do 6 at a time.
Yeah, well, at least the place we went to anyway.
Well, they did that in Moralia too, hon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they do 6 at a time, and they're really small, like about that big. And it wasn't very expensive, I think, for your 6 and my 6. What was it? It was 160 pesos, which is about $8.
$8, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And keep those pictures because you'll find that you'll be using them when you're doing other stuff too.
When you're doing your
especially-
immigration.
Yeah. So.
Take it from there.
So we go upstairs, we find a place where we're supposed to go, and out in front of the door, there's a metal cart, and people have laid their
Like a utility cart, a metal utility cart.
paperwork there, and so
And their medical books.
and their medical books, and so I put ours down at the end of the line, and they kept calling people in, but for different
was really
things, and we eventually worked our way to the front of the line, and that took, another hour and a half.
Yeah.
We were sitting in there, so they call us in.
And I asked twice. I went up to the gals that work there at their desks to make sure that, is this the right spot? The only thing that we need is our medical book. And I didn't know because it's marked like a consultation or something on the door. And I thought, are we waiting with this whole group that needs consultations too? Or I didn't really understand.
Right.
So.
I think they were just doing they were handling a number of different functions there.
They don't give you a number or anything like that either.
Yeah.
So Mark kept going back looking at the tray to find out where our book was, because as we were sitting there waiting, like somebody else comes and puts their stuff there, and somebody else comes and puts their stuff there, and it was kind of like that. So it's like, are we at the end of the pile, or where did we go now?
Yeah, but people, I think, were pretty respectful. They put their stuff at the end. I don't think anybody put their paperwork in the front. So eventually we get called in.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah! Yeah, raise the roof. Hallelujah! We get called in. She asks us some questions. About our medical history. If we had any known medical issues, which neither of us do. We'd recently had a physical, and everything checked out just fine. She asked us if we wanted to get
flu vaccine.
Yeah, the flu vaccine. And then from there, they took our blood pressure. They did a glucose test on our fingers. They
weighed us.
They weighed us. They measured how tall we are. And then they did a measurement around our bellies
waist,
too.
around our waist area. They measured. So I've always heard something like, if your waist is bigger than this, it's unhealthy. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Right. So that all checked out just fine.
And Mark's blood sugar that morning. I'll tell you a funny story. That morning before we went, because we didn't know they were going to do any of this.
Right.
Since we had done this the very first time, and we did
Right.
labs and urinalysis the very first time, we figured we're just renewing it, right? So anyhow, we ended up eating the last of our 2 pastries that we had
Yeah.
each, right? So blood sugar spike, right? So I didn't know that they were going to do the glucose test, and so they did, and my number was 71, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I figured it would have been pretty high.
Yeah.
Mark's was 79
76.
or 76.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was 79.
Yeah, 76. But it turned out that was all fine. Now, the funny thing is we don't normally eat a lot of pastries, but we did that morning
because we didn't want them to go off. They were like the last 4 that we had bought.
Right. So she finishes checking us out. She hands us our over 60 booklets.
Tells us what department we're going to go to if we come there. Our department is like number 6. That's where we go. What else? And our blood pressures are pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine was 110/80, which was a little high for me. But again, I'm type A personality, and I'd been waiting for a while.
Right.
So I'm surprised it wasn't higher. Mark's was 110/70. So that was pretty good.
My personal theory is that people with the type A personalities raises their blood pressure by a good 10 points. So that could be it.
And I had nothing to do. I was like so bored out of my mind. So anyhow, go ahead. So what else happened?
Well, that was pretty much it.
So yeah, so we got...
wait a minute. There was something funny. They handed us some stuff at the end.
Let me get it.
Okay.
Let me get it. I'll be right back.
Paula's gonna go get it for you. In the meantime, I'll just keep you entertained. And I didn't really look at this at the time they handed it to us, but it is pretty funny, especially considering our age. They handed us some...
You see these? Condoms.
They handed us some condoms.
They handed us condoms. The other thing
So-
I was looking for was these 2 packets that they gave us. That's like electrolyte stuff. You know, like if you have a problem, have diarrhea or something, and need to replace your electrolytes. It's 2 little packages where I guess you just add the water to it.
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. So I didn't know what it was either, because she had it like folded up. You know, I guess the other direction, and I didn't know. And then she had those 2 other little electrolyte packages and hands it to us. So when we get home, we look at it and go, what?
So,
no babies here. It's okay.
It was kind of funny that they thought that we were still of age to be reproducing. And apparently the electrolytes are for afterwards, in case...
Well, they knew we were
worn out.
61, so I don't understand that.
Anyway,
but anyhow, so...
Yeah, that was just something kind of funny.
It was pretty funny.
And just some words of advice in general when you're dealing with Mexico, with utilities or IMSS or INM. Always have a copy of a utility bill with the address printed on it. Doesn't have to have your name on it, just the correct address.
Right, like ours has our landlord's name on it. All of our utilities bill come that way, and then we just go to the OXXO and pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be looking into whether we're going to do the private or whether we're just going to, I don't know, figure out if we need to go on to IMSS. This guy that lives here was telling us that a lot of the appointments you have to wait a while to get into IMSS, where if you just go to, a doctor's office or whatever, you could get in that same day, that same hour, that right then and there you can get in. And a lot of the pharmacies, as we've mentioned before, have the doctor's offices attached to them too.
Right, and you can just pay out of pocket. It's pretty inexpensive to pay out of pocket.
Pretty cheap. What was our guy in Moralia charging on the corner?
40 pesos
40
for
pesos.
a consultation.
So that's $2 US
Yeah.
to see you. And I mean, and it wasn't just wham bam. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you spent a good hour with us.
Yeah.
Really, well, with me, because
Yeah.
I was having an issue. But
Yeah, when he was having tummy problems in Morelia. But for $2, that's crazy. So, if you guys have any experience with IMSS in Mexico, let us know. Leave your comments down below. If you guys have any other questions that maybe we didn't answer for you regarding IMSS, you know, leave a comment on that too. And if we experienced it or we know about it and we forgot to cover it here, we'll go ahead and respond back to you in the comments.
All right. Until.
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as always,
What she did.
bye.
Bye.